Hello and welcome to episode 190 of Heroes of Handheld, the podcast dedicated to handheld gaming. We like to discuss things and devices such as PlayStation Vitas, Nintendo 3DSs, Nintendo 2DSs, that new 2DS XL thing, or was it 3DS XL thing they released recently? I think it's a 2DS XL. We also talk about Nintendo Switch. We also talk about mobile gaming. We even sometimes dabble into the world of console gaming in terms of PlayStation and Xbox One. We cover everything, but we love handheld gaming. And this week, I've got a special guest. Screw Chris. I've got my Nintendo Advance SP Silver Edition. For those of you watching on YouTube, we'll be able to see this Nintendo. Oh, actually, I should probably introduce Chris. I'm Colin. I'm one of your hosts, and I'm joined by Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Hi. Did you have a Game Boy Advance?
No, I skipped it. I had a Game Boy Color, and then I had a DS. I skipped. My brother had a Game Boy Advance, so I played a lot of games on his.
Yeah.
But he had the original one. I really like the Micro.
Which one?
The Game Boy Advance Micro, which was just like the size of the cartridge.
Are you shitting with me?
GBA Micro, it was called.
I'm gonna have to research this. I don't believe you. Game Boy Advance Micro. Is this a thing? Oh, this was an actual thing.
It's gorgeous as well. The screen was really bright. And I think it had a rechargeable battery as well.
I don't remember this. How strange. There's like a little picture that someone's put on Google Images here where it's got like, I guess, like the timeline of Nintendo's handheld consoles. And there's a Advance SP, a Game Boy Advance, and a DS. And then there's this Micro next to it as well. I don't remember this. So when was this released in terms of the timeline for their consoles? Whereabouts did this fit in?
I'm just going to Google Game Boy Advance Micro, Game Boy Micro. You can still buy them on eBay.
Gaming is amazing. Our knowledge is just infinite. Amazing.
2005.
God, it wasn't even that long ago. That really does surprise me. It was only discontinued in 2008. It was only around for about 3 years. Did it do very well? Honestly, I've never heard of this. Never. Blows my mind. So this came out, I guess, after the SP.
A couple of years later. I do remember it's so pretty.
Oh,
really
yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, the predecessor was the Game Boy Advance SP, and then the successor was the DS. So there you go. It came out between those. So what was the benefit of this? Did it have a color screen, or was it black and white? What was the deal with this? Was it a proper screen?
It had I think it had a backlit screen, possibly. Someone might correct me on that. But it was just a battery as well.
I'm just reading information. This blows my mind. Blows my mind, Chris. Did you have one of these?
No.
Did you have one of these? Hello. Hi, you're there. Great. Did you have one of these?
No, I didn't. No, I wish I did. Sorry, I just got distracted thinking about them. It's so gorgeous, isn't it? So simplistic, and you can really see the 2DS in it as well.
Yeah, you definitely see. It's interesting when you look at the timeline of all their consoles. You can see like the natural progression of each one. So cool. Yeah, my sister had a DS as well, and I remember before school I'd always play the brain training on my DS. And because she had very limited amount of games, I had to go between brain training and Nintendogs. That was really the only two options I had.
Classic.
But yeah, I've got my Game Boy Advance SP. It was a great device. I used to take it on many a road trip, many holidays, and it still works to this day. It's scratched a high hell and back, but it is so good. So we talk about handheld games, so we'll probably talk about this as well. Anyway, top of the show stuff I want to talk about. Firstly, can you believe Conor McGregor didn't win against Floyd Mayweather? Who would have thought it, eh? Who would have thought it? Your thoughts on that? We don't care about boxing. We're a gaming podcast. Move on. But the important thing is, Chris, that I finally watched Baby Driver. Baby Driver.
Great. What did you like it?
It was great. It was so good. As I expected. Edgar Wright can do no wrong with his directing. Like, one of the best scenes in that film is that I think it's called a tracking shot, where the shot just goes on for ages, where he's going to get coffee. That's not a spoiler at all.
Yeah, right at the start.
Good. So good.
It's amazing, isn't it? The choreography is incredible.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx is just brilliant. He always plays he plays good unhinged characters. Kevin Spacey, mate, it's just such a great film. Definitely recommend going to watch that. I know it's been heavily recommended by everyone, and my expectations were really high because of all the hype. But yeah, it met my expectations. I absolutely loved it. So that was good. And also, what did you think of Bake Off?
I haven't watched it yet.
Blasphemy. Now, this is actually this is controversial. I'm sort of glad that it's gone to a different channel and is because hear me out. I don't know how you watched it, but before we couldn't really watch Bake Off because it came out on a Wednesday when we recorded this podcast. Was it Wednesdays it came out on the BBC?
It did used to be on a Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, so I could never watch it, but now it's on a Tuesday. I can watch it, and this makes me very happy. And I watched it last night, and it was grand. It's going to take some getting used to with the new presenters and the Mary Berry copy, but yeah, I thought it was fine. The cakes. Do they usually do such challenging challenges in the first week? Like the first challenge was they had to create a cake that didn't look like a cake. I thought that was ridiculous for the first week. That's pretty harsh. I
think it's normally fairly difficult because they have gone through like quite a rigorous audition process up to that point.
I guess so. But yeah, it was good. Anyway, Chris, let's get on to some important business here. What games have you been playing this week?
So mainly I've been playing Splatoon 2 still. I know, who'd have thought. I wanted to recommend an app, Colin, which I think you're going to really like. Nice.
What is it? Do tell.
And friends listening as well will really enjoy this. It's called Fight List. It's a quiz jam that you play via Facebook. I think you can play with Bran as well. And basically, it will give you a category, and it'll be like girls' names beginning with J. And you've got to name as many answers as you can, but the ones which less people know get you more points. It's kind of like pointless in that regard. You play against your friends. It's really quick fire because the rounds last less than a minute. They're sort of 45 minutes each. You can pick it up and put it down at your convenience. It's just really fun and really addictive. And it's one of those ones where you play it and you're like, oh, I did okay. And then you think afterwards, oh man, I can't believe how many answers I missed. Like how many, land animals beginning with G that I forgot to say, or how many types of bread in Subway you forget. And the option is there as well. So if you want, you can reveal the answers, but if not, you can just play it straight. I play it every day. Like I check it a couple of times. I'll play it because it's so quick and because it's so competitive. And the other thing is, if you're playing with friends, obviously you can put silly answers as well that they'll see. So you could say something humorsome, and the other person will see it and have a little laugh. So Colin, I think you should download it and challenge me later.
I'm downloading it as we speak. This sounds like something I would really enjoy. I like the little boxing glove on the logo as well. That's nice. That's nice.
The only thing I'd say is I bought the premium version because the adverts are they're not that heavy, but they're kind of they're not just hovering. They'll play videos and stuff. So I would recommend the premium version if you can spare the £2.99.
There you go. How much? It's £2.99 for premium, and you just get that without adverts. Seems a bit pricey there, Chris. Bit pricey.
Yeah, but when you think of how much you're going to play this game, Colin,
I will give it a go, and yeah, I very rarely do pay for the what do they call them? Premium.
Yeah.
Don't they? But they normally do it where when you first start playing, it's great, you're having fun, there's only a few adverts, but then once you've sunk a few hours into a game, they start putting loads of adverts in your face to make you, because they know you're getting more addicted to it. They make you more likely to buy the one. But I'll give this a go. This sounds fun, and I'll challenge you. We need more games that we can play together because we don't have many at all. Because we have we don't have the same consoles on any platform now. We don't have the same main gaming console. We don't have the same handheld gaming device, so this will be fun. I'm very much the only time we actually did play games together was on our Vitas when we couldn't connect to each other's game.
On Killzone.
And what else did we have? Oh, it was Minecraft. Minecraft. That was terrible. When I like kept dying and you just kept stealing my stuff. I must still have that world on my memory card somewhere. I must open up one day and like just like stand there and just like just smell and see the nostalgia and remember when Chris used to play games with me. Anyway, I'll give this game a go. I've downloaded it. It's on my phone. I'll give it a go. Actually, I want to quickly say I've got a new phone. I've got the iPhone 7. I don't know whether it's really good. Not a massive game changer compared to the last phone I had, which was a 5S. But yeah, the screen's very pretty. It looks very nice. The screens are quite a bit bigger than the 5S, so that's nice. It sounds great. Which have you got? The 7? Have you got the 6? I can't remember which one.
I've got the 6S.
So you got one just behind me. I don't know if it's the same on the 6S, but the home button, where it's not really a button anymore, like the ID, you know, with your fingerprint scanner, is so good on the iPhone 7. Like on the 5S, it did have it. I think it was the first phone to get it, or the one after, or whatever. But you had to sort of put your thumb or your finger over the home button for like a couple of seconds, and then it would register it. But on the 7, it's so quick. You just give it a little tap, and it instantly knows it's you. It's so good. So really, I know it only saves a few seconds, but it's actually very, very convenient, I find, when you're trying to get on your phone quickly. I don't know what it's like on the 6S, whether you have the same.
Yeah, it's smooth, but I don't really have one to compare it to.
Yeah, I imagine it's probably the same. I'd imagine like that is much different. But
Mm.
the only annoying thing with the 7 is I think this was the first generation of iPhones to get this, where there's no headphone jack in it now.
Oh yeah, you have to use a converter, don't you?
Yeah, the other day when I'd forgotten my iPod, yeah, because I still have an iPod, just saying. And I thought, you know what, I'll just plug my headphones into my phone and I'll just watch some YouTube. I went, you know, when you just like put the adapter at the bottom of the phone and just like, you know, go along trying to find hides. I did that for a few seconds, like, where the hell is it? Then I realized sadly that there wasn't one on there. So apart from that, it's great, but I'm loving it. It's a really good phone. Anyway, I've been playing a game as well. It's called Data Wing, and this is a fantastic game. It was by one man called Dan Vogt. It's available on Android and iOS, and this was recommended actually on the store when I went on to the featured tab. It is a lot of fun. It's free as well. I don't know whether I got it in a week when it was Game of the Week. I know they have these offers on the Apple Store where if you a certain week's games that are normally cost will be free. But Data Wing is a lot of fun. It's a mix between a racing game. I mean, it's a racing game, but there's actually a really interesting story in there as well. Basically, the idea is that you're in this massive supercomputer. You're a triangle, basically, and you have these different maps that you have to go around, and you either have to race other triangles or just go through a maze and get to the end, find keys and unlock different ways. But it's done in levels, but there's loads of extras you can unlock. Like there's a story going on in the background. You find these bits of data which you can decipher, and it's emails between what seems like a child and their parent, but the more you unlock, the more stories revealed, and there's an overarching story as well about this computer which is controlling you and making you do all these things, and its end goal is it wants to escape the computer. It wants to get a real body and take over the world, basically. And there's a variety of it sounds really weird, but it's actually really, really fun and really interesting. And I mean, the main thing is that the gameplay is actually really solid. It's really easy to play. The triangle is like a little spaceship. It's always moving. You just tap either side of the screen to turn left or right. There's the spike in difficulty becomes quite apparent the further you go in, but there's such a large variety of game modes in it as well. As I said, one level you'll be racing other triangles, and the next you'll just have to go through this maze, and then there's like these little number puzzles you have to do as well to unlock levels. It's a really interesting game. If you can get it for free, and even if it's just a couple of quid, I'll definitely recommend it. It's called Data Wing. And as I said, available on iOS and Android. So I definitely recommend it, Chris. I don't know whether you want to look on your store if you got your phone handy and see whether it is free or whether
let me have a look.
Charge, because I did get it for free, but that might have just been part of the App of the Week feature they have. Data Wing, yeah.
Yeah, it's free.
Nice. Definitely download it then. Data Wing, download it now. Chris, you download it. It's good.
I will.
It's a great game. So yeah, some good recommendations there. So I'll definitely try Fight List. So if you're looking for games to play, download Fight List and download Data Wing because they're very, very fun. Right, Chris, you've been playing Splatoon 2. I've been playing Data Wing. Shall we move on to some bits of news before we get to the end segment?
Yes. So we're slightly reformatting how we do this show. Tweet us at Handheld Podcast what you think of the changes.
We're
basically
going through
the idea is
changes.
that because we're only doing this once a week, a lot of the news by the time we get to it is fairly old. So what we're going to do is a little less news and then a little more discussion at the end of the show. At Handheld Podcast, let us know what you think. We'll talk more about the new feature later on. But let's just bust in with the Switch news, shall we? So there was a Nintendo's showcase happening about an hour and a half ago. The Nindies showcase, they called it. Now, because it was so recent, I've not actually had a chance to watch all the trailers yet that came out of it, but a load of games were announced for Nintendo Switch, including September 21 this year. He's released a SteamWorld Dig 2. We've got a game called Golf Story, which everyone's creaming themselves over.
I do like a good golf game.
Yeah, well, I think it's a golf RPG.
What?
Shovel Knight King Knight DLC comes out early 2018. And loads of others more. We'll embed a picture on the article if you want to have a look at it. But the one that really has hit me, Super Meat Boy Forever comes next year. And did you ever play a game, Colin, on the Wii called No More Heroes?
It sounds familiar. Remind me what it is.
So it was developed by Suda51, who are a Japanese studio, and it starred a character called Travis Touchdown, who accidentally found himself on the list of the most wanted assassins in America, and then you have to fight your way to the top of the list using this beam katana. It was absolutely bonkers, the gameplay. It was amazing. It was really fun and arcadey and just jazzy. And they've announced that a new Travis Touchdown game comes next year. It's called Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes. There's a trailer. You can watch it. We'll embed it. I mean, you can't get much sense from the trailer apart from the fact it's kind of as wazzy, as fun. The beam sword is still on. They're saying it's being given an indie flavor. I don't quite know what that means. But it looks really good, and definitely watch this trailer because it looks very fun. The other thing, the thing is because PAX is happening this weekend. So Rocket League have announced that if you're going to PAX West, you'll be able to play a version of Rocket League on the Switch. This is the first time it's being playable in like actual real life people's hands rather than just people in the world of games. So the playable version will be at the PAX West Rocket League stage, and Nintendo's booth on level 4, whatever that means. There's going to be tournaments and stuff as well. And they've also announced...
Oh, those cars look amazing. The Mario and Luigi cars.
They've announced the Nintendo exclusive Rocket League cars, which are themed around Mario and Luigi, and a Metroid one as well. The Metroid one is really gorgeous. Yeah,
but could you tell that's Metroid? It's just a gold car.
Yeah, but you can if you know Metroid, because it looks just like the ship.
I guess so. Does it cool?
And the armor. So yeah, but no, interestingly, I can't see that there was a Rocket League release date announced at the showcase.
No, there wasn't. They're still waiting for a release date. Looking at this article, I didn't play enough. I played Rocket League on my Xbox when it was free for a weekend. Absolutely loved it. But yeah, that was the end of my playing career on Rocket League. So addictive, that game. So addictive.
Rocket League is so good, and it's so good if you've just got 10 minutes. Like I think that's what's great about it, is you can really just pick it up and pick up and play.
That's why it's perfect for Switch. This is going to be such a great game on Switch, honestly. I reckon we'll play so much. I can't wait for that. Yeah. Perfect platform for it. So that is cool. Please continue.
Well, that's kind of it, really. I mean, the problem is we've not really had time to digest the stuff announced from the Switch showcase. The only other little bit of news which has been interesting this week is someone on NeoGAF discovered that the Splatoon 2 doesn't have online voice chat when you play with randoms. The only way you can do it is if you use the app. And if you use the app, I don't think you can talk during the game. You can only talk beforehand. So it's a bit crap. But someone's discovered that if you play local LAN play, you can actually have voice chat enabled there. So there is a version of it built into the game, which is kind of, I mean, why you need it for LAN and not for online, I don't know. But I'll put a link. You can read up about it from NeoGAF if you're so curious. Have a little look at that, and it is an interesting read. I think it's a bit of a missed opportunity from Nintendo as well.
Yeah, this whole voice chat thing, hasn't this been like quite a big thing for Switch recently? Where I don't know, was voice chat something that you could do on Switch from the beginning?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, I don't know why they're so reluctant to do it. Nintendo are a strange company. But
yeah, and there is one more big bit of Nintendo news, but I'm going to save it for when we're in the 3DS section.
Fit. Right, I'm going to give you some news quickly because it's the big news. We talk about this every few months. I can't wait to talk about this. I'm very excited. I'm getting frothy. Chris, it's time for your monthly Minecraft update.
Yes.
Brilliant. It's update 1.56. I can't believe there's only been 1.56. Are they doing it by like 0.01 each time? Because there's been so many updates. Surely they should be on like number 25 by now, something. Anyway, so the recent most up-to-date update is here for PS4, PS3, and of course the PlayStation Vita. This is being released by 4J Studios. Everyone loves 4J Studios. Minecraft is the beast that just never goes away and will probably be updated until the end of time. So what has been added? Well, the main thing that's been added is support for the Glide Myths Track Pack and Stranger's Biome Settlers Free Skin Pack. These are now available in Europe and Japan, and it's also available in North America, but it didn't come out in North America till a day afterwards. This was released on the 29th, which was yesterday. So here's the full update for 1.56. Obviously, you get those packs as well. They cost £2.49. It's £2.49 for the Glide Myths pack, track pack, and £1.69 for the Strangers Biome Settlers Free Skin pack. So just a couple of quid there. It's not too bad. But in terms of updates and fixes, here's the big old list. I'm going to read through a few of these updates. So Enderman and Endermite should always be hostile to each other. So they're not going to get along anymore. They hate each other. They're going to fight. Polar bears. I didn't even know there were polar bears in Minecraft. Is this a new thing? Polar bears should not attack the player when in peaceful mode. That's funny. So they're attacking people in peaceful mode. Lol. Wither skeletons no longer fear daylight and will attack anything that lives. Creepy. Skeleton horses can now be tamed and leashed. Zombie horses can now be leashed. Skeletons shouldn't attack village golems. Strays now flee from wolves. There's a huge list here. Some fixes. There's fix slow moving mobs in water. Fix for farmer villagers not planting seeds often enough. Thank the Lord that this update is come and that fix has been added in. I was wanting my farmers to plant quicker. Amazing. But I mean, we joke. I lol. But this is still really great that 4J Studios are still bringing their updates to PlayStation Vita. I think that's really good. It's really great. The longer this continues, the better, in my opinion. So this update is coming to all platforms. It's come to Sony platforms, but obviously it's going to come to all the other ones soon as well. Xbox 360, U, and Switch as well. So there you go. Just wanted to talk about that. Chris, did you have anything else for me, or shall I go on to the next bit of news?
You keep going, and then I'll do my 3DS stuff at the end.
Now I'm going to probably embarrass myself here. Chris, do you know about a game called Secret of Mana 3D?
I do know about Secret of Mana. Yes, little.
I feel like a bit like a noob here. So apparently it was released in 1993. Action role-playing game developed by Square for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, was officially released on the 6th of August 1993. Well, if you were fans of this game, you'll be happy to hear that it's now coming to PlayStation Vita and PS4. This has been announced by Square Enix. They've announced a full remake of the game, and it's already up for pre-order as well on the PSN. So if you're very excited, you can even pre-order it now. Apparently, this was a bit unexpected, this news, according to this article. It wasn't mentioned at Gamescom, but they've announced it's going to be a full remake. So it was called Secret of Mana. I think originally it's called Secret of Mana 3D. But now, obviously, because 3D is just like the thing that all games have, it's just called Secret of Mana. The original was one of the few Square role players of the era to be released in Europe. No doubt because instead of turn-based combat, it had real-time action reminiscent of The Legend of Zelda. It was actually a sequel. I mean, there's loads of information on this article about it. But in terms of when you can play it, there is an announcement trailer as well. So we'll obviously embed this trailer into the article. It's going to be released on February the 15th for Vita and PS4 and also PC as well. And as I said, it is up for pre-order on PSN and Steam as well. And if you do that, you'll get exclusive DLC costumes, which is very, very cool. So there's a list here of updates that this game's going to get from the original. There's going to be updates to the audio, so it's going to sound a bit nicer. The 3D graphics are being revamped, as you'd expect. Upgraded gameplay, dialogue scenes added, and much, much more. So yeah, it's good. It looks very pretty. It looks like a very colourful and very flowery game. But yeah, it's coming next year, early in the year. Gotta be 2018 next year. That's scary. So yeah, if you like Secret of the Mana 3D, then Secret of the Mana is coming to PlayStation Vita, so you can play it on handheld, which is very good news indeed. Boom. Chris, what else have you got for me, son?
Right, Colin. So there is a big bit of Nintendo news this week, but it's kind of sad actually.
Oh.
So do you remember back in the day, back when we first started doing this podcast, even back when the Wii U was a thing?
The Wii U.
Do you remember how excited I was for a little something called Miiverse?
Yes. Now this is something that you were dead keen on this, Simon. We spoke about this quite a lot.
So Miiverse was like a social network built into the Wii U and then later on the 3DS, although it was less functional on the 3DS.
Oh, yes. Wasn't this the thing where like you could send pictures to each other and people kept sending penises?
No, it was the thing where you could draw pictures and post messages and ask for hints on games. So each game had a different community, and you could like write text, you could ask for hints, you could draw pictures. You'll remember perhaps my first ever picture was on the Super Smash Brothers Miiverse, and I posted a picture of Banjo and Kazooie not getting an invite for Smash Bros. And someone replied with the iconic comment, "Lol, your Banjo looks retarded."
Brilliant. Chris, I've just found some highlights from Miiverse and the images that people send to each other. So if you could please click the link on the top of the Google Drive, then
I will do. There's a community that is dedicated to bad Miiverse posts as well. You can look that up. Lots of penises, lots of people making jokes about like there's a really famous one that was in the Super Mario Miiverse. It was like, "This game is great. Also, my parents keep fighting." Anyway, so there's been announced that they are going to be closing down the Miiverse social network on the 8th of November. There is the opportunity for you to download your pictures and stuff. That's going to be up running now until I just read some of the bad Miiverse posts. That's going to be open now until November the 8th, so you can download old pictures. I think it's a real shame for Nintendo, and I hope they're bringing in something new, because the thing is, this was really good for like drawing and writing and creation, but also like there were developers who bought games out and used Miiverse to communicate with their fans.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a real shame that it looks like they've not announced anything that's coming in its place, and obviously it's not on Switch.
Isn't there any form of me? Is there no form of like me hangout place on the Switch?
Not really. No, I mean on Splatoon you can submit drawings, but it's not quite the same as having the whole Miiverse dedicated to it.
Oh my god! I'm just scrolling through all these funny Miiverse pictures. This is great.
Oh yeah, I mean they are absolutely horrendous. But yeah, let us know what you think. If you're a big Miiverse fan, we'd love to hear from you at Handheld Podcast. Send us a message.
This is a shame, because I sort of like the cute little Miiverse thing, and it was on the Wii as well, wasn't it? There was like a big room where all your
no, the Wii had a slightly different one. It was Wii U and 3DS that really took advantage of it, because that's where you could do all the drawing.
Yeah.
I've
got to say, like, there are a lot of penises, and I have to really commend the artists here for putting so much effort into the penises. There's the detail is incredible. really.
Mm.
They're literally throbbing, I tell you. Well, that's sad. But yeah, it's sad when you think about it. Like, this was a really nice thing that Nintendo did. Well, not a nice thing. It's quite an interesting idea, and it's all good things get ruined by people online, don't they? There's
Yeah,
always
but
like
they've not even. Thing is, they've not even said they're closing it cos penises. They've just said they're closing it.
cos penises. Can you imagine if that was the press release? Closing it cos penises. That'd be great. That's gonna be the name of this episode.
Definitely
Cos
follow
penises.
me. Follow Bad Meverse post on Twitter if you want more of this kind of stuff.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna do that. That's great. Right. Have you got any happier news that you're gonna lay on me?
Yeah,
Or
probably just one more thing actually. Is that there's been a new model of the 2DS announced. It's a really gorgeous scarlet red color. It comes preloaded with Super Mario Bros. 2. They've also been trailing a blue one, but I think that was already released, or someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure. We'll embed a trailer. It's a really pretty new model of the 2DS, not the 2DS XL. So if you want the 2DS and you've always been waiting for a red one, your chance is now here.
your chance is nigh.
Does look gorgeous though. How's your 2DS, Colin?
It's great. Yeah. Who? Oh, that 2DS.
Do you still own it?
I think I traded it in about 2 years ago now.
I was just thinking I couldn't remember if you traded it in or not.
How's your Vita going? Is it good?
Yeah, really good. Use it all the time.
Good. Right, I've got one more bit of news I want to tell you about. Exciting. A game came out on the PlayStation Vita yesterday. A game called Windjammers, which originally released on the Neo Geo arcade system. What the heck is the Neo Geo arcade system? Chris, do you know what that is? Do you know what that thing is?
I know that the Switch has loads of Neo Geo re-releases on.
Ah, right. Let's have a look.
Tell us about it.
It was a cartridge-based arcade system board and fourth generation home video game console released in 1990. Never heard of that. Wow. Very cool. There's like an arcade cabinet and also a home console version. Very cool. Came out in Europe in 91. Anyway, that's not important. There was a game on there called Windjammers, as I said, and the game is coming out. It's already out actually on PlayStation Vita, which is very exciting. A remake of it. It'll cost you £11.99. It's a fast-paced head-to-head arcade game where two players face off on a court and throw discs at the opponent's goal zone to score points. The player with the most points wins. So yeah, it looks really cool. I mean, the art style is very retro, very old school gaming, as you'd expect. This is the sort of game that will look, great on Vita, and it's really cool. With the trailer that they've done, they've made it look really old. They've made it look like an advert from the 90s, but obviously it's advertised. And the fact it's out on PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 4. So yeah. Very good. And it's quite funny because in the trailer as well, they're bigging up that you can now use it on the internet, and there's people looking at a really, really old computer system cheering. And there's a boy picking his nose. So there you go. The trailer has everything, people. Has everything. And if you want to see it, go to heroesofhandheld.wordpress.com and you can view it. Only £12. That's not bad. Not bad.
That's a good price.
Very good, very good. That's all my news. I'm done.
Right, Colin.
What are we calling this segment then?
So we do need a bit of help with that. I tell you what, if someone wants to send us some money, we'd definitely name a segment after them.
Yeah, sponsor a segment. It's something we should do. Coming soon.
So what I wanted to do was I wanted to bring in something that was a little bit more discussion-y, because the thing is, on this podcast, we come in, we'll talk at the start, someone will make a joke about fellatio with someone's mother. Or father, and then we'll do the news. Then it'll be right, time to go home. So what I'm thinking is, I want to have a kind of a reflective talking point each week. Yeah, which is just I think we'll call it group chat for the moment, because you at home can contribute your group chats, and we will read them out, because we would love to know. If you give us a question and you answer it yourself, we'll happily then answer the question and then read yours. That's the type of vibe we're going for. So we're talking talking topics about games, what's the best Telltale game, and what's been a missed opportunity in Assassin's Creed, what's your favorite soundtrack, what's got the best horse in video games, that sort of thing, Colin.
So many games have great horses.
I know there are so many great horses, aren't there? Maybe that's one for a couple of weeks' time. We'll, something that requires a bit of thought. We'd love to know yours, and it doesn't have to be just handheld as well. We want the opportunity to reflect, because the thing is, I don't know about you, Colin, but I turned 25 a couple of weeks ago, and now I realize I've been playing video games for 80% of my life.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we've seen a lot, we've seen a lot.
Scary thoughts there, man. Scary.
So here's this week's first group chat. You can answer it as well at Handheld Podcast. We'll read them next week, and we'll also take your suggestions. Group chat for this week, Colin.
Yes. What is it?
I want to know what you and what the listening friends at home, if you could replay one game and wipe your knowledge of it, what would it pick? So like you get to basically re-experience a game for the first time. You can play it on for the purpose of this question, we'll give you a version of the console as well. What is the one game that hit you so hard you want to wipe your memories and go back and play it again? Colin Byrne.
That's a good question. So when you first put this question to me earlier on, I was thinking, oh, how am I going to choose? There's been so many games that have had an effect on me. But I thought, in terms of games that I regard as some of my favorites of all time, most of them took a couple of hours of playing the game, or a couple of days, to really get immersed in the story and really appreciate it. I mean, the main gaming franchise or title that came to mind straight away was the Mass Effect trilogy, the original 3. But then I thought, when I very first picked up Mass Effect, the very first one that only came out on Xbox, with its very slow movement system, with the Nomad being horrendous to control. I remember I played it for about an hour or so, and I could not get into it. I put it down and didn't touch it for about 6 months. And then I decided, you know what? I'm the sort of person, I hate not finishing games. So it doesn't matter how long I leave it for, I will eventually always get back to it. I thought, I'll start again afresh, go all the way back to the beginning. And I played it again. I chose a different class. I chose like the soldier class, because you had to choose different classes back on the original Mass Effect. And it obviously became one of my favorite games, and the trilogy became one of my favorite gaming series of all time. But yeah, it took a while to get into. So the game that I've decided to go with, the game that I've decided I would love to start afresh, because instantly it became a classic to me within the first half an hour or so. And I'd love to experience that again, just how obsessed I was, how jaw-dropping the story was, how interesting, and what was the word when something changed it up, like they make it their own, like it's
like a new
fresh
style.
So a fresh gaming style. And that game is The Darkness. And I don't know.
Oh, you love The Darkness, don't you?
Darkness is, to this day, one of my favorite games of all time. Now, this came out, it's based on a comic book series, a graphic novel series. I didn't really know much about it. There have been a few trailers for it, and it looked really interesting. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to pick that up. That looks a bit different to the sort of games I'd usually play. And it's a first-person role-playing game. It's sort of open world. It's such a amazing story, that it's gripping, the characters are so well written, it's scary as all heck. It's a horror game, and there are some absolutely chilling parts in that game. It's dark, it's satisfying, it's just fantastic. So for those of you who don't know, I'll just give you a quick overview of the game. You're Jackie Estacado, and on your 18th birthday you find out you've inherited this mystical power called the Darkness, which is like, it's sort of like a demon presence that's inside your head, and it talks to you. And what it enables you, it allows you to have these otherworldly powers. And the main power you have is you can summon these 2 demons out of your left and right shoulder, and you can use them to rip people to shreds, and you have to devour hearts to get energy. It sounds really dark and brutal. It is brutal. It's very violent, very bloody game, but it's a mix between this fantasy, mystical world, and also this really interesting mob story based in the US, where I know it's been out for a while, but you have to avenge loved ones' passings. You have to get revenge on these people who have wronged you, and you've also got to find out what this demon inside you wants out of the world as well. It's such a fantastic game. I would love to experience that again. I played that game through so many times, but I would say if you want the full effect of the horror, because there is a level when you actually go inside the mind of the darkness and you go into this really messed up world. It's set in like it's like obviously it's not real, it's like a mystical world, but it's like set in the World War I time. It's hard to explain, but I would say if you're going to play that level, definitely play it at night with the lights off, because it is some of the scariest, chilling gameplay I've ever played in any game. And I've played Condemned 1 and 2, and that game was effed up as well. But honestly, The Darkness is a great game. The ending is satisfying. There's so many side missions. You get to talk to all these different characters around the world. Like you'll end up retrieving a saxophone for someone, but then the next minute you're killing mobsters with your demons at your shoulder. It's incredible. It's such a great game. And the further you go through the game, the more powers you have, and you can by the end you're effing things up with all these like mystical powers. You can summon like these force fields. You've got these epic guns that obliterate people. It's just, and you can also like just hide in a corner, get possessed by one of these demons like a snake, slither around and just kill people like that. It's great. It's such a good game. And if you have an Xbox 360, I'm not too sure whether it's backwards compatible on the Xbox One, but if you can still play it on the device you've got, I would definitely recommend it. It's probably going to cost you about 50p now. Honestly, it's been out for so long. They did release a sequel to it, Darkness 2, a couple of years later. It wasn't great. It was still okay, but it lost the open world part of the original, which made it so unique. It was just a straightforward, linear first person revenge tale basically, and I think they were going to make a third one, but I don't think the second one did that well, so I think they scrapped it, unfortunately. But definitely play the Darkness one. That's my pick, is the Darkness one. Great game.
It's a great, I've just been reading about it. It looks prime for a I wonder if they'll do the two of them as like a remastered pack.
Oh, honestly, if they did that on Xbox One, I would buy that in a heartbeat. I would love to play that game again. But honestly, I cannot explain how scary the game is. Like, I need to see if I can find some images from it. The Darkness, scary. Let me just do that and see if I can find them.
It looks pretty terrifying. I've just been looking at what's been talking about it. It does look really spooky.
It's dark, but then it goes from being quite a nice story as well. It's weird. It mixes horror with interesting elements of family and love and things like that. Anyway, Chris, what would your pick be? What game would you play again?
So I've been thinking about this all day, and I've been juggling in my head whether I want to pick something and replay it to get like the story again, or whether I would pick something and replay it so that I could experience like the mechanics for the first time. Because there are games with stories that I love, like something like Red Dead or BioShock, which tell these amazing kind of twisty, intricate, detailed stories. And then there are games with kind of gameplay which like You in the Darkness, which experiencing for the first time was really kind of big moment for me. So something like Arkham Asylum, for example, was the first time I got like really into a stealth game, and I would love to replay that. But the one I'm gonna pick is a game which combines this kind of beautiful story, which has a little bit of a twist and turn, but not much, with just this amazing sprawling landscape. And for me, it's got to be Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD. So I played that game on a Wii U, and I hadn't played a Zelda title in a while, and I hadn't really I'd not played Wind Waker on the Cube. And the game is just so staggering. And the thing is, like, people talk about now how in Breath of the Wild, when you clear the first area, then you get the open world bit. And there's other games when it's like, oh, it really sets off once you're like in once you can freely explore the world, or once you see your first this or that. But for me, that game was Wind Waker, and that moment where you first get on the boat and the ocean is just completely open to you, it's just beautiful. And obviously the art style and the gameplay is terrific, but the impact it had when you first step off this tiny island Link's lived on his whole life, and it's like, okay, you can sail anywhere now. It's gorgeous. I would love to replay that game for the first time. Just like no other game has kind of hit me that hard the first time round.
Yeah, I can imagine like getting in your boat and just looking out this huge, huge world, and it completely being up to you as to where you go.
Yeah, it's
Must be quite a
beautiful, and you
yeah.
can. I mean, obviously, that there is a story to follow, and there's certain areas that are off limits, but the it's yeah, it is just magnificent, and it's so stylized and just gorgeous. I would love to like just wipe my memory and let me discover that game for the first time, and let me discover the kind of intricacies and the physics and all the hidden gems and little things to do. I'd love to.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean that was the big. That was that a launch title for the Wii U? That one.
No, I think it was it was fairly early on. They announced the HD re-release, but I don't think it was a launcher.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember this being a big deal. It's a shame that the Wii didn't last longer than, I think it's interesting how the Wii U sort of struggled throughout its life, but then the Switch is like complete different. It's like success story after success story. I'm looking at the image of this game. It looks a lot different to the one that's out on Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, the art style's a
Art style
lot
a
more
lot different.
cartoony, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say basic, but I think cartoony is probably it's not basic. It's just very a lot not as yeah, more cartoony.
Yeah, I just
What was that? What was
can
that
I
reaction for?
can I read you something? So I've just
Please.
been because they've just announced this No More Heroes game for Switch, which comes out next year
Hmm.
at the Indie Showcase, and I was just looking it up to it because I wanted to put a link in. Can I just read you a little bit from the Wikipedia, and then we'll end the episode.
Please do.
So, a Nintendo Switch sequel, No More Heroes: Travis Strikes Again, was hinted during the first announcements of the Switch back in March and confirmed just an hour ago. Grasshopper manufactured team with several other indie developers for the title, which sees Travis being transported into these other indie games to fight boss battles within those games.
What?
The first one they've announced,
What?
Hotline Miami.
No. Oh, yeah, I can see that. That
How cool is that?
this game fits Hotline Miami. Looking at the art style, that'd be so good though. So, what is he going to be like a proper 3D character, and he'll just have to fight from a top-down perspective? How's it going to work?
I guess they'll change it depending on the game that he's in. So it's kind of going to be like a tour of different indies.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. So what's his
Yeah.
weapon again? He's got
Sounds great.
a baseball bat or a big pole? What's his?
It's an electric katana.
Electric katana. Of course it is. Sounds like some Mad Max Fury Road style shit there. Nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That'd be really interesting. I'm assuming you'll be picking that up.
Yeah, definitely. Colin,
Yes, yes, yes.
how can people get in touch?
People can get in touch by tweeting us at Handheld Podcast. They can email heroesofhandheld@gmail.com. They can go to heroesofhandheld.wordpress.com and go to the contact us part of the website. We're on Google Plus, we're on Facebook, we're all over social media. You can find all our previous episodes on our website as well. We're on YouTube where you can watch the video element of these podcasts. Just so many places. We're on all your favorite podcast catchers, so Stitcher, iTunes, wherever good podcasts are sold, we will be there. And if you've got any suggestions for this little end segment, or if you've got some ideas for better names for it as well, let us know. heroesofhandheld@gmail.com. Bless you. Bless you.
Have a wicked week.
Have a wicked week. I didn't realize we were talking from 2005, but there you go. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Goodbye. Need to actually stop the recording. That would help. Here it is.